to another episode of the Peelerz podcast where we discuss the nitty, the gritty, and the pretty side of stripping. Here again with
Ania Woods.
And we got Corella Kraken. It's time for another life update because it's been a while since any of us have.
Yeah, it's been a minute since you've recorded in general, hey.
Yeah, things got weird. I got exhausted and I got a boyfriend. Now I'm even more exhausted.
Yeah, that happens, doesn't it?
Oh, God, I hate it.
You hate it.
I hate it. I like being in love, but I fucking hate it.
It's so distracting being in love. I seen this thing that said, every successful woman is single and every successful man has a woman. I was like, that's so true.
Yeah, it is. It's just hard to have out your own hobbies and everything, and then you also have to show interest in someone else's.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck off.
You're going to do your makeup on the podcast? I love that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have time today. I was exhausted. I don't know about you.
Real life things.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. I feel like these last few days have been extremely emotional.
Very. Even when Jasmine was here just a few days ago, she was like, it took me everything not to cry. And I was crying on the way here because she was getting her period and just life in general. I think it's also the weather has a huge play in it.
Yeah. I had a really good week last week. I felt like I had such a streak of luck where I was doing really well at work and I was happy and really light. But then Monday came along and it was a full moon and we had a really bad incident at work.
A very wild, fucked up, scary, traumatizing. These are things I feel like we can say these now. I feel like we were all really scared to say it on the night that it happened because we didn't want to make it about us. But holy fuck. That was really scary to watch.
So, leading up to the night felt off. Monday, I came in, as I said, the previous week, I had such a good week. I felt my spirits were up. And then coming in Monday, the energy had shifted. And I was we're spiritual.
Because you're number 2 on the schedule now.
We're spiritual girlies. So I felt maybe the full moon, I don't know. But my energy was so off. And I felt like the energy at the club was so off. I felt so anxious all night. And then, I think we should just say it. The winch broke on Sydney Belle. She was in the middle of her show. And
so the winch is the thing that holds the aerials up in the air.
Yeah.
And it's about the height of 12 feet?
Well, it's a 2-story building, Shade is, and it goes up to the 2nd story. And she was up that high and the wire on the winch snapped.
Yeah.
And we literally all watched Sydney fall.
From one of... literally her most dangerous move.
Yeah.
Where no safety nets are there. There's no padding on. There's nothing. And it's something that we all say to each other often. We're like, holy fuck, I hate watching her do this move. Because what if something goes wrong? It always makes me think. And every girl was like, I put it in the ether. We're like, no, it's just a really scary, what if situation.
We consider it the death drop. She throws her feet in the air and then her feet wrap around her silk. But it wasn't a fault of her. It was a freak accident that the wire on the winch snapped. And we're always scared that she's not going to catch.
Yeah, or a foot will come out or
we've
something.
We've never been scared of the equipment being faulty. Mm-hmm. So, it was an absolute freak accident. And it was a slower night. So we were all watching the shows. And for us to witness one of our friends and fellow dancers literally fall from a 2nd story on to her face was, I can't imagine how traumatizing it was for her because it was extremely traumatizing for us. The whole lineup, the next day I felt like no one could talk about it because we just start crying.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't consider her lucky in any which way or form because she fucking fell from a 2nd story. But she's definitely got an angel on her shoulder because if she would have fallen in any certain way, we wouldn't necessarily have Sydney with us today. So it's been a really, really heavy week having that happen on a Monday.
And also going through all the mistakes that each of us made in a panic. There was just there was a lot. She was in shock. She wanted to leave. All of these things happened. I think we all crowded her. Yeah. We all came in the fucking change room and wanted to help, which made her probably feel fucking flustered. She's also probably half unconscious, There was There was a lot. It was all rushed. It was all scary. Like, realistically, we all should have called an ambulance and she should have been laid down in a thing, but half of us don't even know that procedure. So all of it was just...
She's also so strong. Like, she was in hella shock, but severely, like, she was 1,000% concussed. And when you're in shock, you don't feel pain. But yeah, like, she's just so strong and she's so independent naturally that I think when you're in shock, it comes even more.
Yeah.
So I'm shaking just talking about it. And like, not to make it about anybody but her, but we all go on that aerial rigging, and it could have happened to anybody, and it's just insane watching it happen to someone that we work with every day.
It's also insane watching the person who's probably the most passionate about it and the most appreciated aerial show that's there, I'd say, like the most memorable aerial show, and knowing that person is so heavily connected to that art, and that, like, I would be scared. All I've been learning when I did trapeze was ankle drop, and now I'm terrified. Yeah. So I can't imagine how she fucking feels to go on a prop that she loves and actually knows how to use and be scared. Yeah. You know? That'd be like probably the worst case scenario would be her never touching them again. But we all know Sydney, and there's no fucking way.
Nah,
there's no fucking way.
I'm sure she'll get back up there. It's like, you know, you got to get back on the horse. I don't know, like, watching that happen, it's going to take a lot for me to get back up there. I think I will eventually, depending on the maintenance that they do to the rigging, because like that rigging has lasted us 10 years and they do, Shade does a good job of maintaining it. I'm not an engineer. I don't know these certain things. I do know that there's different opinions rotating around our rigging. So, but I do know that it was the last thing that our management, the owners, would want one of their feature entertainers getting hurt. Like, they would never ever.
The Miss Nude Alberta.
Our queen, you know, like
queen right now.
So yeah, they would never ever want that to happen. So, and I don't think that they just were super negligent either. I think it's just a freak accident. So, and it's just so hard and painful to.
So fucked up. And so, It's very hard to explain
the feeling of it, because it's like she's one of our sisters, you know, like I don't know if all clubs are as close as we are, but I feel like we're like sisters. We kind of bicker back and forth and stuff with each other, but like we all, when push comes to shove, I do feel like we do have each other's back.
Oh God. Yeah. As soon as we came to work, everyone's just like poking their head into our change room being like, what are we doing? I know that something's going to happen, whether it's, you know, gift basket or showing up to her house and caroling. Something's going to happen. Like, we're going to do something for her. We all
want to be there for her, and like in any which way she needs. We don't know what she needs at this point because she's still dealing with like a lot of swelling and a lot of pain. So we don't know the extent of her injuries.
No broken bones.
Yeah, there's no broken bones.
There's no internal bleeding.
Yeah, she went for, right after it happened, she did go to the hospital and she had testing done. So we are sure that like she's home and she is okay, but we don't know the extent of her injuries, and until we talk to her. So but we are all there for her, and we want to help her in any which way that we can. Like, none of us are taking this lightly. Do you remember that dumb video that I'm sure every single male customer that you've ever had sent you? And it was the girl on New Year's who fell from the like four-story foot pole, and she broke her jaw and kept working because she's in shock. Yeah, that video was circulating around everywhere. I think people that weren't even related to dancing in any which way. I remember posting like a PSA on my Instagram being like, anyone else who sends this shit to me, like, I'm just gonna block you, because like, can you imagine from our perspective seeing a friend that happened to a friend? Yes, I do recall you saying that, and it's weird that people that we're sharing it thinking it's funny, because it's like it wasn't the exact same situation, but pretty fucking close, that she just fell very, very high, and you guys are laughing at it. Well, like, oh, because she kept twerking after, like, that's what shock does, like. Yeah, like, and she's embarrassed and doesn't want people. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but say something happened at your job, in any job, like, hey, you're on the rigs and something blew up or like someone fell. Is that funny? Like, they wouldn't think it's funny. It's not shared like it's funny. It's not viral on TikTok either, but that video still circulates as like some funny bit. Yeah, and some of the customers that were at Shade that night also thought, they were like, oh, wow, that was crazy. Like, the way they were acting was like, it wasn't a big deal that someone just fell from the second story on their face. Like, yeah, I understand that, no, you know what? I was going to say I understand that people have their stereotypes on strippers and stuff, but I don't. We're people. And when you see something traumatic happen, it doesn't matter that we're naked or we take our clothes off for a living. We're still people, and something really bad just happened. Yeah. And the fact that we're doing that for you ungrateful fucks.
Yeah, like she was doing that. And I mean, Sydney does this show, even if she knows for a fact she's only going to make $4 in tips, she will do it. Doesn't fucking matter. She does not pull out a lazy show unless she's very injured. So,
and even if she's injured, I've still never seen her pull out a lazy show. Like, that girl puts 110% into every show that she does. So it's insane that there's customers out there that are laughing. I don't think that they're laughing at her, but just taking it lightly that someone hurt themselves, or that New Year's video that they're laughing at it. It's not funny. No. It's not funny at all. And that girl broke her jaw and like couldn't work and had like thousands of dollars worth of dental bills.
And like, do you remember when Melina got concussed as well? Like, that shit will last a while. I remember she did like one spin and had to walk off stage because she was throwing up. And that was like 2.5 weeks after.
Yeah, concussion's really serious. Like, and people take concussion seriously in every other sport. So, yeah.
Except ours.
Yeah, like a concussion, like we can't go upside down. We can't elevate our heart rate. Well, that is literally a huge part of our job.
That's all we do.
So, yeah, and then because concussions can affect people differently. Yeah, and there's been multiple dancers that's happened to. And
yeah. Have you ever fallen from an aerial?
No, I have not. Not at work. I've fallen when I'm practicing new tricks, but there's a mat underneath me, so it's not that bad. Yeah. But no, not at work. I've never fallen at work. I'm a very, very cautious dancer for the most part.
Yeah, slowing down is important. For all the new dancers, pay attention.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't really do tricks unless I am confident in them for the most part. Yeah. On my aerials or on the pole. So, yeah.
Oh God, sweating and thinking about it, I get goosebumps. I was in a buyout when it happened, and I literally told the guy, I was like, watch this, it's like the coolest trick. So we both like look over, and when she had hit the ground, he's like, oh, was that supposed to happen? And I had run away from him, being like, you know, something needs to happen. I could see the DJ booth and everything. I needed to go run and like alarm everybody I fucking could. And he held it over my head for the rest of the night, being like, remember to let you go see your friend? I was like, I almost refunded his money.
You're like, you know what? I don't actually want to spend time with you right now.
Absolutely
you are giving me the biggest ick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The customer I was with was actually very much like, yeah, you should definitely go see your friend. And I was very thankful of that. Yeah. He's like, yeah, that is very important. Go see your friend. And it's not like, if they bought till 2 and we leave, we're going to pause your time, just like if we were to go on stage. But something serious just happened. Like, I get that you're in a club and you're paying for an experience, but, you know, life happens, and our friend just hurt herself very badly.
So badly. Oh, my God. I've never been more worried for a fucking dancer in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm, like, absolutely shocked after watching it, seeing like the whole thing and everything, and the weight come down and the damage to the stage and everything, and like how...
Oh yeah, there's like a huge dent in the stage now, not from her, but there's a weight that hangs on the winch to counteract our spin. And there is a huge dent in the stage. They had to put like a big piece of tape that like says not to walk there because we'll trip on it. It's that intense.
And like you said, she's not lucky because it happened to her, but the extent of the damages...
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, it's...
how bad it could have really been. And, like, again, like Anya said, she does a move where her silks snag her ankles. So she's going face first into the ground. And she did manage to stop herself a little bit. Like, she probably could tell she was coming all the way down. She's used to that trick. So, fuck, man. Like, that could have been bad. Broken jaw, fractured spine. Oh, my God. And, like, only a few months into her being
Stripper
Miss
Olympics
Nude.
reigning. Yeah. Like it's
supposed to be her year. I don't know about you guys. I'm vain like this, or I don't know if it's vain even, but what like fucking broke me is that she has been on Invisalign, and this isn't like after we found out she's healthy and she's okay. This is what really fucking bugged me. She's been on Invisalign for 3 years. She can afford veneers, no problem. She chose wanting her own natural teeth because she's got beautiful big teeth. Does Invisalign for 3 years and 2 fucking months. Her last day of Invisalign was 2 weeks ago, and she finally has her new smile, and she's so proud of it. Paid off, good to go, nice and whitened. And then her teeth get knocked out. And I remember her looking in the mirror at her teeth, and that's all she was worried about at the moment because shock is a very powerful drug. And like, holy fuck, the money that you invest, I haven't done Invisalign. It fucking hurts. It's annoying. You have to take it out when you eat just so she could have her own natural teeth. And no, natural teeth aren't there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And just like, yeah. I don't like that things were taken away from her on Monday night. Like being able to perform.
Just doing what you love and stuff. Yeah.
Doing what you love, your whole week of work. Like we had plans to like practice and stuff. Oh God.
It really is. And, you know, there's been some people that that have said to me, like, oh, maybe you should reconsider what you're doing. Like, you're going up there and risking your life. Like, this is the risk you take. And I'm like, I don't really agree with you on that. Like, she's like, let me start over. Yeah, there's people that have been like, well, you know, this is the risk you're taking. Maybe you should reconsider what risks you're taking and for who. But as I just said, I don't really agree with this because you and I, Sydney and I, we all do this, and other dancers that do it, we don't just do it because we're taking a risk for people. We do it because we love it.
Yeah.
And yes, we are doing it for you guys too, but we are also doing it because we love it. And yes, it is a risk that we take, but I mean, it's still traumatic to do it. Like I don't feel like every job has risks, but you know, there's people that ski and snowboard, and there's people that go skydiving, and there's people that work in dangerous jobs too. And it's still a risk, and it's still a way to make money, and it's still potentially something that you do that you love. Like if there was a severe skiing or snowboard accident, no one's going to be like, oh, it's the risk that you took going downhill skiing.
That's
it's like
their own fault.
No, it's not.
Right.
Like
girls get attacked all the time, and they have a support group. But like the Christy Mack thing too, everyone's just like, yeah, you kind of deserve that because you do porn. You're like, wait, no, people don't deserve any pain or anything else because of the stigma they carry because of their job.
What happened with Christy Mack?
She was cheating on her man, and then her man, there's records that they were broken up, came in and tried to kill her. Cut off her hair with a butcher knife and all this stuff, and everyone's like, yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't do porn. And they're like, no, maybe someone shouldn't break in the house. Maybe the winch shouldn't go. Maybe this shouldn't happen. But to say, like, your job should only consider the dangers only because the stigma is dumb. It's very dumb. And half the reason I'm learning that trick is to crack my back properly. You know? Like, I'm not doing that for you. Fuck off.
Oh, yeah, it's... Yeah. So Monday was very, very heavy for us.
God, it's still heavy.
Yeah, it still is.
It's awkward and weird. Everyone feels like they can't talk about it, or if they're not talking about it, that they don't care, or... Yeah.
But it's also like, it's a lot, as you can tell, I think, with this conversation, and there's just so many different parts of it, so...
Mm-hmm. We all just care a lot.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Everyone cares so much. I've never had my phone ring off the hook so much, other than, like, when Bear passed away. Just, like... What happened? Give me every detail. And what's nice about everyone who contacted is they didn't want to be like, oh, I heard. They're like, we heard that you seen it. What happened? How did she leave? How is she doing now? Have you heard from her? But, you know, usually when there's anything of a smaller magnitude, it's like, well, I heard. Well, I heard. With this one, it's people only want the facts. They want to know if she's okay.
They want to know if she's okay, yeah.
So much love around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, with us, sisterhood, it's like when push comes to shove, we are actually all there for each other. I find that us at Shea, there isn't loads of drama anyway, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like, even if there's people that might not like each other, when something happens, it's still not something. It's still not. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see your coworkers and your fellows go through something. Even if you have any issues with them, you still don't want to see it.
And we all know each other, even if you don't like so and so. We all know each other so much because of the small group of us talking in the change room. You know enough about everybody that you know that she loves this and she likes to do this. So it fucking hurts to know that someone's like passion has been taken away for a short amount of time.
But Sydney's probably one of the most like well-liked dancers at Shade.
I was going to say I don't really know anyone that doesn't like her, but any other girl, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if it would have happened to anybody else, like even maybe someone that's not liked, we still would feel bad. So,
you know, it reminded me of when, I don't know, were you there? The Stripper Olympics meeting where Demi got in the car accident?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And everyone was like, again, trying not to make it about themselves, but you could see like everyone welling up. Like, fuck, she worked really hard on that show. Now she just doesn't get to do it. And not one person was like, yes, one less competitor.
No,
you know?
yes. Yeah, it's not how we like seen it. Yeah, exactly.
No, we're all fucking butthurt. And like, we all know how hard she worked on that show. And then when our one friend went to go pick her up, she was like screaming in the ambulance about like, no, I need to do this show. I need to do this. It's like, no, you can't, man. You just broke
once
your
again,
spine.
in shock. Like, in shock. But she did get to do it, which is really nice. She got to do it this year.
And she
And it was great. Yeah, and she still did such a good job. So,
we can talk about, we haven't caught up on your Stripper Olympics.
Oh, it was so good. My show was so freaking fun. It was so fun, with my sisters being there and being on stage with me, and it went off like I didn't have any issues with my show. Everything went like super smooth, and it was just so wonderful. It was so well rehearsed, and I think so well received. I feel like everyone had fun during my show, and I had so much support there. It was really, really awesome. So I had such a great time, and like obviously I didn't win this year.
Sydney did.
Sydney won, and I actually didn't even place second, which a lot of people thought that it was going to be between Sydney and I, and I also thought that. And but Serena, the dark horse, came in and got second, which is awesome because I think that's the highest she's ever placed.
And she's been waiting for that moment.
Yeah, and she had such a cool show too. Her reverse show, she like started off naked and like got changed. It was like a hangover theme. It was very, very creative and like cool to see her come out of her comfort zone. And
so with your theme being, this is the second time that you've done like a risky one where your theme makes everyone go like, ooh, are people gonna like it or hate it? Do you think that your theme was your downfall?
No, I think I was against some like pretty heavy competitors, and the bar has been raised, and my show times kind of fucked me over, to be honest. I was last show on Friday and then first show on Monday, so I think that could have affected my score. But I'm not butthurt about it by any means. Like everything that I wanted to happen happened, and it's not up to me who wins. But I've had my moment twice. So I think it's wonderful to see somebody else feel that. It's like I've already gotten to feel it, and it would, as much as it feels super special to feel that again, as you would know, you've done it 3 times too. It's also really cool to know that someone got to feel that for the first time, because the second time winning versus the first time winning, I will admit, wasn't as like intense feelings. So, to know that Sydney got that intense feeling of winning and being so happy, and she deserved it. Her show was so incredible. It was very, very good. So I was like, kudos to her. And to have a new queen up on the banners, I think is really neat too. Like I didn't have any qualms about it whatsoever. A lot of people came up to me and are like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, like this was one of my favorite years. And because I was first show on Saturday, I got to be with all my friends. There was so many people down there that came for me and that remembered my show. I got so many pictures. I signed so many autographs. Like
nothing makes you feel more famous than Stripper Olympics.
Yeah. And because I'm usually last show, I don't ever get to experience that. So yeah, I'm super happy every time I talk about the Stripper Olympics. I have a huge smile on my face about it. And so yeah, I'm not upset about it one bit. We were talking about this the other day. I don't like being lower on the schedule. That's very humbling.
It bugged the shit out of me. I asked you, okay, for the first time ever in so long, I'm number 3, and I am upsetty spaghetti about it. I tried to play it off cool on Monday, and I was like, do you think he's mad at me? Do you think like this? And you're like, no, I promise you it's because I made bonus and because I was bitching about my other spot. I promise you that's why. And I was like, okay. I texted JP 30 seconds after that. We're like,
are you
mad at me? And he's like, no, you idiot. And I'm like, are you sure?
Did he tell you it's because of that? Because yes, I said I bitched about it and because I made bonus?
Yeah, he just said Ania was number 3 and she's number 2 this week. And I was like, fine. But, now that I'm thinking about it, Megan Mayhem is covering for Sydney and she made the best joke. And I wanted to quote it on Twitter, but I didn't know if it sounded insensitive, but it's fucking funny. I was like, Megan, you're number 1 on the schedule, big shot. And she's like, dude, someone had to fall from the ceiling for that to happen.
Yeah, Carl and I are very big on where we are on the schedule means something. And everyone, when I was bitching about it on last week, I'm like, I can't believe I'm 3. And Mandy's like, it doesn't mean anything. I'm like, yes, it does. Yes, it does mean something. What?
I'm like, when Serena, every time that there's May the 4th week, she brings so many.
She's a huge Star Wars person.
And she brings half the costumes that all of us wear because we don't have costumes for it. She's always, and every year, she's always the feature. And I remember someone coming in being like, what'd you do to get number 2 to Serena? And I'm like, nothing. It's just Star Wars week. But it obviously means something if that person came up to me and was like,
Yeah, there's people being like, there's no rhyme or reason. He just throws the names together. I'm like, and I turn to Mandy and I'm like, as someone who's been on the lineup for the past 10 years at this place, I can tell you it's not just willy-nilly. Yeah. I worked my way up to the top and I feel my way working down.
And that's this is something I have to accept as someone who's retiring.
Yeah, exactly. Because Stripper Olympics winner is always number 1. And if the Stripper Olympics winner is not there, it's generally a previous winner. But the week prior, there was 3 Stripper Olympics winners on the lineup. And this week, there is 2. At least there was. Sydney's not there anymore.
Oh my God. At least
Sydney's not working the rest of the week, if you can't tell. But yeah, that's a little humbling for us. But it really doesn't mean anything. It is a timing thing. Why I was a little bit more upset about it because sometimes the shows aren't peak hour because number 1 and number 2 spots are generally strong dancers. They're all strong dancers. You have to be a pretty strong dancer to be on the shade lineup to begin with.
I just realized I tipped the wrong jar.
Oh no. Did you really?
Yeah, because I've never been number 3. There's tip jars with our numbers on them so that the porters know that we're tipping them properly. I did not put in number 3.
And Steve is going to say you didn't tip.
Yeah.
This happened to me a couple weeks ago.
Damn it.
That happened to me last time I was 3, actually. Not this last week, but a few weeks prior to this.
Yeah.
I tipped the wrong jar and I had to tip again because he didn't believe me.
And one time Dave comes to the change room and he's like, you're not ready for your show? Sydney was already downstairs and ready for her show. And he comes in, he's like, well, what set do you want? And this and that. And you're not even ready for your show. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm on at 10:55. He's like, well, look. He points at the number 1 spot. I'm like, Dave, I'm not number 1 anymore. He's like, oh, sorry.
That's so funny. But I was telling you, number 3 doesn't have peak hour show times.
Yeah.
But I think last week why I was so calm and I did so well is because I wasn't on stage at peak hour and I was getting bought out every night. And I don't know if you've checked your numbers, you had really good numbers.
I was actually the top seller of
because you're number 3.
And Mandy's like, I really appreciate your hard work lately. I'm like, what fucking hard work? I've just been getting lucky.
Dude, it's not luck. You're just in the right place at the right time. It's because you're not on stage at peak hour. Those are the times that everyone is buying dances. And I swear by it. I was actually excited to be number 3 again this week. And then I got number 2 and I was like, well, okay, I'm happy to be number 2 because we just talked about why we like that.
Mm-hmm. But right after you said that too, I think I was bought out for 2 hours right after.
Yeah. So, yeah. So there's good in both. I was like, you know what? I'm going to appreciate when I'm 1 and 2 because I get really good show times. I get the like excitedness of the customers. I make lots of tips because my tips are way better when you have peak hour show times. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to also appreciate when I'm lower on the schedule because then I have time to sell dances. And so it all ranges with how much money you're making. And I think just you don't feel as much pressure because you're not on at peak times.
There's always a positive to everything.
Yeah.
And we definitely have to be grateful for what we have, even though you're not number 1. I feel that way when I go to Liquid Zoo too, and you've claimed number 1 before me. I'm like, she got me.
I will say that that Liquid Zoo, it actually doesn't matter. That one actually doesn't matter because we ask which showtimes we want, and some people want different showtimes for different reasons. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, Trouble doesn't give a shit. She just likes performing.
No, Ireland doesn't give a shit either. A lot of dancers don't care at the zoo. They're like, I don't care. Whatever number I get is what I get.
I just don't want to be last show on the last day.
Yeah, and the reason I also don't want is because then I can't sell dances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, number 1 is a good spot. Mm-hmm. Unless it's a long weekend and then it's shit.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, also the nice thing about the number 1 spot at Shade, which I feel is like it's a good push to make girls really want to win Stripper Olympics, is that the schedule is really consistent. It's all like 9 o'clock, Thursday on, 9 o'clock. And then basically after midnight, either it's 12 or 1, but it's like very consistently the same. So you're not like looking at what time you're on. You just know.
Yeah.
Especially when you're so used to it from being number 1. No, you're not. I have to always check the times. I have no fucking idea what time I'm on anymore. And usually I'll be like, okay, Sydney's on stage and she's always number 2. So then it goes 3-1. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, I'm 3. I'm her. It's me.
It's me.
It's me.
Jessica.
Jessica. I told the guy that he's like, what's the banners for? I'm like, those are the girls with the best buttholes. He's like, what? No way. And they like looks and points. He's like, is that you? Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
They'll believe anything. Like the men at strip clubs will think everything you say that's the truth is a lie.
Yeah.
And everything that's a lie is the truth.
There was a guy it was Monday, that I was sitting beside on front row, and I can't remember who was on stage, and he's like, can you do that? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, you can't. And I was like, yes, I can.
I always say like, oh no, like I could never do what they do. I always say that. So that when I go on stage, they're like, what do you think? You said you sucked. I'm like, you're mad about that? You're the one who assumed I sucked. You thought because I'm sitting here and she's up there that I'm at a lower level than her. It's rude. It's rude to think that. Or they think, I hate this. It always happens in small bars. It does happen at Shade though. When guys are like, go on stage. Go. Like, there's no one there. Like, when's your turn? And you're like, oh, I'm not dancing tonight. Like, if you're freelancing or something, or your shows are done. And they're like, why? Because you suck? And you're like, no, because there's a fucking schedule. And I don't just get to change that at any whim because you want a dancer up there. Or when I clean the pole and I'll go back and I peek around. And it's always my TikTok fans. I love you. Y'all are impatient as shit, though. I'll, like, peek around the corner, and they're like, go up, go. I'm like, I'm just waiting for my song to start. Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, we have to be announced on.
Yeah, I'm not doing it because I'm shy or, like, I don't want to. It's 'cause I got to wait for my song at our scheduled time. That's on the schedule. It's the schedule we can't change.
They're just so excited to see you.
Yeah, yeah. But it's always the small towns that they're like, well, why aren't you up there? And I'm like, can you not see that there's literally a girl on stage right now?
It's also every strip club that I've ever worked at has a schedule. You can't just go on stage, and you have to go on stage during your scheduled time or else you get fined.
I know, like, Nude in Ottawa and some places like the States, they do have their features or whatever, and then they have, it's almost kind of a schedule. Like at Ottawa.
They definitely have one.
Yeah, and they go like, oh yeah, you're following Sasha, and then they do like one song, and then they're allowed to go off and sell a dance, and then they come out. Ottawa's weird because they take off their top and then they leave the stage. Someone else comes on and then the other person comes on.
That is really weird. I forgot about that. That is such an interesting way of doing it. They don't just stay on the stage for like 2 songs. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
I forgot about that. That is very, very interesting.
And when we did Saskatchewan too, and we didn't know how really dancing schedule would work, we would just go like, we're starting with Rachel, then it's Kraken, and then it's Jackie, and then it's Presley.
Then it repeats, yeah.
Yeah, so like, you know, when Haley's on stage, you follow her, but there's no time. And like Ottawa's very similar like that. Like whenever she's on, you follow her. It's gonna be like 3 minutes after that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not up to us when we go on.
No.
Yeah.
There's a couple clubs that it's just like follow the leader. Yeah. But yeah, other times we have times because it's sometimes hard to keep track of who's on stage when you're in the back and when you're on the floor, wherever you are in the club.
I like at Newton, I hated being in the lap dance room and then the speaker because everyone has to hear everything, especially if that's their schedule. And you're like, I don't know if you remember this about Newton in Ottawa, but Mad World by Gary Rules plays like, all around me are familiar.
Oh, yeah.
In the lap dance room, that comes on every fourth song. And it's like, all around me are next on stage, Catherine, our familiar faces. You're like, God damn, that is so depressing. Sounds like he's eating a mic.
It is so funny when, like, who chooses the lap dance music? Because it can be some wild ass music. I find that the music that's in the club is obviously the DJs and it's appropriate during the time of the night. Like, they usually do a decent job of that. But the lap dance music is wild. Yeah. It's wild. It is just like, whatever. They just put it on shuffle.
At Shade, they definitely ask us. They ask us.
They have done better. I don't know if you noticed. They have fixed it.
And I can almost hear when it's like, oh, that's a Havana, like especially Havana's music. That's the Spanish, or like I can hear my 2 Feet Come On, or Mariah Wild. Me and her have a lot of the same dubstep songs that we like. So I'm like, oh, I know that's Mariah.
But yeah, for a long time we had really bad music too. But they made a list of like all the things that we like, and they got rid of the other ones.
Lots of Usher. I remember lots of Usher before.
Yeah, Usher.
Last night, because we were bored and we needed lightening up in the club, I went on stage. I was very gassy, and I was like, I want a new name. So Machine Gun Butt was my new dancer name, and she was calling me MGB. And that was my first night dancing. I did like 0 tricks. I maybe did a handstand or something.
But she got announced that it was her first time ever on stage, and her name was Machine Gun Butt. And the song, I was like, play Lonely Island, thinking it'd be like, I just had sex, or like, I did your mom, like stuff about sex. And one song was about computers, and the next one was like, turtleneck sweater, turtleneck sweater, turtleneck sweater. And then someone threw a Pikachu at me. It was like, it was wild. It was a wild night. If only JP was there, he would have appreciated that.
Oh, God.
Didn't he get mad at you guys once for doing something like that? Like, you guys can't do that.
Fuck, I
You're
don't know.
strippers.
It's happened a few times. Oh, my favorite was Duffman. I came on stage. I like did the whole like arms at my side. I just belched, and then I started dancing. And he's like, "This is so long ago." He's like, "Pretty girls don't burp." And I was like, "Did you just call me pretty?" And he's like, "Kraken, stop." There was another thing he didn't want us to do.
Well, Darla wasn't allowed to let her fight.
Yeah, Darla couldn't let her farts on fire. We couldn't do blockhead. Like
what the fuck is blockhead?
Putting a nail up your nose or putting a condom through your sinuses.
Oh, yeah. There was a girl that did that. That is insane.
I learned blockhead.
Emily Evans did that. Yeah. And she was allowed to do it because she did all sorts of freaky shit.
Yeah, her whole thing was freak.
Yeah, so she was allowed to do it. Mm-hmm. You weren't.
Me and Cherry not doing it consistently. Well, it's not a good thing, apparently. Which worked for me because I didn't like it anyway, but I like freak show stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that JP, someone was like, you can't do that. Be hot.
My favorite.
He's like, what's wrong with you? Be a stripper. Be hot.
I remember one time he came in the back and he's like, people are complaining about your bald head. I was trying to be sneaky and not work with a wig. It was my first alopecia outbreak or whatever, and I just was getting sick of wearing the wigs. And all of my wigs were heavy and I can't do tricks in them. So I was like, fuck it.
And the amount of times they fell off.
Yeah, they fell off, all that shit. And yeah, just comes back. They're complaining about your bald head. I'm like, who? I want you to go there and point out who. Like, I know it's your fucking preference because I made a shit ton of money.
No, people like it. I don't actually think that's not being hot. I remember there was this girl in Australia, and man, she was so hot and covered in tattoos and bald. And yeah, she was so sexy. I don't think that being bald is unhot. I think it's, if you can pull it off, it's hot. There's a couple girls in Vancouver that are bald or have like really short hair too, and it's hot as fuck.
Well, it's like the Amber Rose.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as you got a cute shaped head, it's good. If you got a big old melon weirdo like alien head, it might be odd. But it's also people's curiosity as well, because half the reason they go for a dance with me, it's like an old rich man who usually is like, I don't like tattoos, so like, why? It's the same with being bald. They're just like, you're hot, but I don't get it because I'm not supposed to like bald girls. And you're like, well, you can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Like, there's so many reasons why people would like bald. It's just like a preference. And it is beautiful. Like, it's a hairstyle. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's ridiculous that I wonder if nowadays it would be different, because it was, I think yourself was already like a stretch letting you work there because they didn't like heavily tattooed girls. So then you coming out as like bald, they were like, no. Bald. People are complaining about bald head. Your Fabergé egg head.
I remember when I came in a day after shaving it as well, because I only shaved it 2 days before I went to the airport to get tattooed and whatnot, because I didn't want to walk around with like the center of my head with no tattoos, and tattoos here, you look like Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
You know? And I went to go pick up my paycheck.
Oh, no.
And I had my hat on, and obviously like there's a lot less density here. I had to wear extensions and stuff near the end because it was stringy and gross. Did the last contest, shaved my head, went to go pick up my paycheck. And I remember Jay just like holding the paycheck and going, "Are you bald now? You shave your head? Do you get a haircut?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, what are you going to do about that for work?" I'm like, "Wigs, it's already something I've considered." They're like, "But why?" I'm like, I'm not getting into it.
Yeah, there is another girl in Vancouver that does choose to wear, she has very short hair, but she does choose to wear a wig. And she's like, I just find that I personally make more money and it's more feminine. But if you can pull off being bald or short hair, I think you should. Mm-hmm. I think it makes you stand out.
Seeing Roxy's hair at this length all the time makes me want to cut it. But I really want to see what my hair looks like at my nipples. Yeah. Yeah. But I love this length. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's just me aging or something, but I love that length now.
It's also easy to style. It's quick.
Mm-hmm. Except this, like, the fucking under curls go like, ee, and really weird and ugly. I hate that part.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Now those humidity sprays work. Pisses me off.
What humidity spray? What are you talking about?
For people with curly hair.
Oh, for your hair. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, I'm not familiar with this. I don't have curly hair.
Yeah. I sweat for like one show and it turns into a coily mess underneath.
But on top, your hair's not curly at all?
I've tried every curly girl method.
You've tried that like scrunching.
Mm-hmm. The bowl, I bought a diffuser, all that shit. Like,
and your hair's not curly on top.
It like gets a slight wave. But then I have like I looked up like the 1B and 4C and all that stuff because like it matters the porosity of your hair and what kind of shampoo to use, and none of it made sense.
What is your like, what is it called? Heritage mix? Like what are you?
Lebanese, Italian, German?
Okay.
Something. Yeah, we're trying to remember what it is on my dad's side because we don't exactly talk to them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we know it's Italian and something else that's white.
I know a lot of like Lebanese and Arab girls have like very curly hair. Mm-hmm. Like one of my good friends that I grew up with in school, like her hair is, it's wildly crazy. It's beautiful.
Me and my brother both had like really blonde, curly, coily hair when we were young.
Oh, okay, but it changed.
Yeah, we looked like Swedish twins. We were always the same size. I was always the bigger baby because my brother's older, but yeah, we looked exactly the same.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Doug.
That's what my man calls me when I don't have my makeup on.
Doug?
Doug. When we're at family dinner, my brother goes, especially if he has a new girlfriend, he goes, "My sister's #1 prostitute in Kazakhstan," whenever I talk about my job.
That is what I told my family about that, and they died. I'm like, Rella's brother fucking makes fun of her. That's quotes bull rat.
He always, what does he say too? Whenever we start like burning each other, because he's never gotten. I always make fun of him for never getting me Christmas gifts or birthday gifts ever. He doesn't have the money for it. He just doesn't. He's bad at budgeting. He'll give me the finger, and I'm like, didn't expect anything less from you. You're just a little electrician. And he's like, you're a fucking dropout stripper. I'm like, yeah, a dropout stripper who paid for the fucking Airbnb we're sitting in and gave you a Christmas gift, you turd. He's like, well, I graduated. I'm like, thank you for that gift, Doug.
You didn't graduate?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. What year did you go up to?
The last one?
Oh, so you did go up to 12. You just didn't finish it. You
Just didn't finish it. No.
Okay. Did you ever get your GED?
Halfway, no.
Yeah, well, whatever. Look at you.
I hope I don't get in too much shit for this, but I don't know why I lied about it. But my man was like, yeah, I got my GED. He's like, you did too, right? And I was like, yeah. But I didn't. I went to rehab.
And now you're a stripper. You're really following, like...
First, 8 years of Bible camp. Then you got to hate your dad. Then you got to go to rehab. Don't graduate. Move to a bigger city where stripping is legal. First, choose a career that's illegal where you live.
Yeah.
Then go do it somewhere else. Get really good at it to prove to who? I don't know. Yourself.
But hey, look at you now. You're a 3-time Miss Nude Alberta. At least you're excelling in this career.
I remember one of my exes was like, oh, and blah, blah, blah. And like, you're just a stripper. I was like, not just. I'm the best stripper.
Also, did I say excelling or succelling?
I think you said succelling. Hi, it's me, Krell. I'm succelling. It's me, Ania. I have melasma and I'm succelling in my career.
I have a good sense of smell. I'm so sorry. They don't understand any of our inside jokes.
We went to fucking Mexico and she's worried about her freckles connecting. It's called melasma.
Yeah, that's like sun damage.
And I don't know why it was funny, but we were like imagining her on the beach, like falling to her knees, being like, my melasma. And me and Megan thought it was really fucking funny for some reason. You were just like, okay, guys, that's enough of that.
Yeah, I think it's funny for you to pretend that I'm a nerd.
Yeah, you have a thick lisp and you
Don't at all.
Her epiglottis. She has allergies and her melasma.
Are you farting?
No, I'm guessing my always felt. If I was farting, my butt would be right here. And like,
Yeah.
I get shy with farting around cameras.
On cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was burping that you guys used to do at the past Peelerz podcast, the OG Peelerz podcast.
Oh, yeah. I remember one time talking to my ex's auntie, and she's like, oh, I listened to your podcast. I'm like, weird, because me and him just started dating a week ago, you know? And she's like, no, I've just always been listening because she used to be a stripper.
Oh.
And then she started lecturing me about how, like, she's like, oh, it's so different now because they accept you. And I was trying to tell her, like, no, it's not. Like, it took me a long time for people to accept the whole tattooed stripper look. I really had to excel at my job. I had to excel at my job to get there. And she just kept ignoring me and being like, oh, yeah, no, it's definitely changed. They allow tattoos now. I'm like, okay, whatever. She's like, yeah, but your podcast, whoever's burping, can they stop? And I was like, sure, just for you, Catherine. Like, just because you asked. And then, no joke, I had some of his dry cum on my throat.
Oh,
and she goes,
no.
oh, you have some dry skin. And like, she was being such a bitch to me that I was like, can you get it for me?
Oh my God. So she scraped off her, what was it, nephew?
Her nephew's jizz off my neck.
Ew. Oh no. Oh no.
Sorry, Catherine. I don't know if you still listen or if your name is Catherine. But yeah, when your nephew was dating that stripper, sorry. Oh, well, that was enriching.
Yeah, we need to go have drinks before work now.
Yeah. Espresso martinis. Yeah, I'm just excited to make TikToks while doing it. Unless it gets banned, I don't fucking know. Oh, there's so much shit happening in the world we didn't even touch on.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm here a week.
Yeah, I actually do need to film a few more episodes if you're willing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, be safe. Wear a condom. Wear a helmet. Check your winch.
Check your winch.
Tip your dancers a lot. Have a good time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.